At Rubber Band, we empower each other through positivity, kindness, and practical advice. Join a community of thousands of peers who understand the unique challenges you face. Rubber Band. Company agnostic, low ego, high empathy, always supportive.
We have countless positions to advertise. Our career site is less than inspiring. We need to get our new EVP out to market, and we have to start building our employee advocacy program.
That's a lot to do and only one of me.
Well, that's why I've just brought in VideoMyJob. It's the content creation platform that talent acquisition and employer branding experts like yourself need.
Wow.
Tell your story with video. Attract talent and get better hires with VideoMyJob.
And we are live. Welcome viewers and welcome listeners to today's episode of the Rubber Band vodcast and podcast, where I am joined by David Macciocca from VideoMyJob. Now, before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that I live and work on, the Wadawurrung and Dja Dja Wurrung people. I recognise their continuing connection to the land and waterways. I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and I would like to extend this to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. David from VideoMyJob, who I've known a long time. Welcome, David. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing really well, Eden. Good to see you.
Great to see you as well. Great to see you as well. And what I'm really excited about today, David, we've been doing a little bit of work with VideoMyJob, and we had a focus group not too long ago, and everyone was really impressed with the evolution of VideoMyJob. So I'm really excited to hear more about the journey. I'm excited to see a demo from one of our banders, Gavin, today as well. So thank you for joining us today as well, Gavin. And also get to know you a little bit more, David. So this is an exciting episode, and I'm thrilled you've joined me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into it.
Excellent. Well, let's start with you. I always start with the guest. Tell me about you. Tell me about your career, David. Walk me through, David, when you started your career, David today at VideoMyJob.
No worries. Well, I'm an accidental recruiter, like most people. I studied software engineering at university, and went traveling to London. Didn't think I'd be there for that long, but ended up staying for 5 years, and really found my feet there quickly. I didn't work in hospitality, as most people do as they're backpacking through. I got asked to upload some resumes on a database within a technology recruitment company, and applicant tracking systems are very different to what they were like back in 1999. Physically upload those resumes. So that's what I did to start off with. But being a tech company and having a software engineering background, quickly adapted to recruitment and fell in love with it hook, line and sinker. I really knew what the software engineers were building, and I could best represent that to huge brands that I was representing at the time, who were all trying to do the same thing, which is reduce the depth of a television screen or a PDA, because they used to be really thick back in the day. And that's the program, like on the metal. So one thing led to another, and I was recognized as a really good recruiter, top biller, as they would say back then. And I just had a lot of fun traveling and meeting friends. So I was there for 5 years, and then I came back to Melbourne. I worked for Randstad for a year, and had a lot of fun there. It was really good, but I had a real desire to set my own recruitment company up, which I did in 2006. And we were a really successful technology recruitment company, and early adopters of social sites to promote our own personal brand and company brand, and video, of course. And that company got acquired in 2015. So in 2013, we turned the meeting room into a studio. We recorded all our jobs. Back then, and thinking back, it's a little while ago, there was a bit of turbulence in the market where recruiters were perceived to not have real jobs. And that's why I wanted to create a video and play on that recruitment is marketing. So our digital footprint went through the roof. We were filling our jobs faster. We were building better connections. are really innovating in that space. So we got nominated for a bunch of awards in 2014, and that led to our acquisition in 2015. So I thought everyone should recruit this way.
Yeah, right.
And knowing the tech scene really well here in Melbourne, put together a tech team, and yeah, we had an MVP. VideoMyJob was born, with a view that you would create a video job ad with your job requirement to post that out.
See, I absolutely love this, David, right? Because, you know, you look at a lot of tech innovation that either comes out of Australia or the UK or US or wherever, right? And, you know, it's an idea that has come to life. But what I love, David, with VideoMyJob is it's got that organic history where, you know, you were actually on the tools recruiting and you tried this out in real time. It wasn't like a big investor that has gone, do you know what, I reckon I can change the way we recruit. Like, you were actually recruiting and you thought, I'm going to try something really different, and it took off from there. So it's like it's born out of our industry. And I think that's really special for VideoMyJob.
Yeah, it is unique, I suppose. I was lucky enough to be able to do it because I did sell my agency, so I could self-fund it, and I had a tech team behind us. So, yeah, I suppose we've had a pretty unique journey. Fast forward to today, like back then when we launched the product, like it was not good at all. Like it was stuck together with duct tape, really. But people really loved it. They used it, and we were a 3-button app for quite a while. But you fast forward today, and you've seen the platform, Eden. It's a real platform. Like it's, you know, we've got so much innovation to make people's life easier, to be able to capture those stories, and AI, it's a big platform. So fast forward today, we're in over 50 countries and represent some of the world's biggest. So yeah, it's been a really good journey. It's been fun.
Yeah. And I've loved watching the journey, right? Like, you know, people from VideoMyJob, I mentioned Gavin earlier, yourself, and, you know, everyone's been very active in the rubber band community since I launched that only 3 years ago. But, you know, I was aware of VideoMyJob prior to that. And, you know, seeing this new evolution and the product evolution of where VideoMyJob is now is extraordinary. And I mentioned a focus group that we had where, you know, Gavin showcased that not too long ago within the community. And I think everyone went, wow, like this is not the VideoMyJob that I saw 5 years ago. This is something really cool. So tell me about that evolution. Like, you know, you talk about it's more a, you know, full platform suite for video content and creative content. Talk to me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so we've been led by our customers, and what we've noticed over time is the emergence of storytelling and employee stories, as opposed to just a single use case of a job ad. So we've gone from a use case that was 100% all video job ads back in 2016, 17, 18, and then the emergence of building trust, building out job families, and just focusing in on the problem that culture and values are really hard to communicate within an organization. So through that lens, the product has really evolved to empower employer brand, recruitment marketing, and talent attraction people, or TA people who can't afford to take on a full-time employer brand person, but can, you know, associate someone with like 10 hours, 15 hours a week to be able to do their employer brand. And yeah, it's been our customers, our users that have put us in this direction. And we've had a lot of luck along the way, because there are some projects that we started years ago that we just couldn't get off the ground. But the emergence of, you know, cloud computing, AI, and other things that was probably not necessary to bore you, but they're the headlines. We've been really, you know, change the way people are capturing stories through video.
So, and you know, reflecting on my experience, and it's been a little bit of a mixed bag, I suppose, in terms of employer brand. I mean, where I am right now, we have an employer brand team, and we produce really highly polished content. Now, some of it gets really great traction, some of it doesn't. Where I worked at Flybys, it was very much a combination of, you know, we had our master brand that we invested in, but then we would just kind of share, you know, it was all a little bit ad hoc, but that was actually really powerful and we got a lot of traction. So tell me about employee stories and how organizations can use their employees and videos of their employees to, I suppose, have that authenticity around their brand rather than just having a highly polished master brand that they've got out in market.
Yeah. Look, I just want to premise that I believe in the big polished video, and I think it's necessary that companies do have them, but I think there's a large appetite for candidates, particularly ones that you're trying to convince to come and join your organization, to have different perspectives. So one topic has 10, 15 different perspectives on that particular topic. As an example, like all company culture is hard. So when you think about culture being hard to communicate, there's a curiosity for candidates to understand who they're going to be working with and what the culture's like. And companies can win on culture. Whoever communicates that better are more likely to get a better conversion when they're taking that person through. Time to fill increases, referral increases, a lot of benefits. And if people understand what it's like to work within the company, attrition and retention metrics come down as well. So there are a lot of benefits to think about a job family that you're struggling with to start off with. This is a nice one to sort of start with. Say for instance, you're looking for a bunch of project managers or business analysts or people to work in data science. Can we get those people to just talk about how the values within the organization, they align to those values? Or day in the life videos, like what is it really like to work within the company? What's the structure like? And they're not advocacy pieces only, they're truth pieces. And companies do need to feel comfortable with that as well, that the content that these individuals are creating repels people as much as it attracts people. So when we think about attracting talent, and this is an old school way of thinking about it, but it still rings true today, organizations are trying to attract A players to their organization. And when we think about an A player, we're talking about like a 1 in 20 hire, someone who ticks all the boxes, is a great culture fit, you know, that unicorn who's going to impact the business. It could be on revenue or the way they're thinking. Like that's an A player. And if thinking about the mindset of an A player, like they've already got a short list of where they want to work before they start applying for a position. A B player is going to research a company before they apply for a position, and a C player is just going to apply for everything.
Yeah.
If you're not communicating to attract A and B grade players, and you're just getting either no applications or very little for your hard to fill positions, or being inundated with your high volume roles with a lot of C grade players, if you have a content strategy, you can really move the needle. So you need to convince them. I think a big hero piece that sits on your website has a role to play, but as a company is researching, what we're finding, we've got a product called Story Feed, and Gavin will go through Story Feed, and you've got...
I'm using Story Feed. Yeah.
Candidates get lost within Story Feed because it pushes them down a wormhole where they're meeting people that they're going to be seeing in the corridor or potentially working with within the team. It's really powerful. And the data that we're able to share with these people, if you don't know what Story Feed is a bit like YouTube for career sites. Just think of it like that, collage of videos, and there's topics that come up on the left-hand side. And people can select a topic. It could be life at company, or this is a value, collaboration. I'm interested in collaboration. Or it could be how to get a promotion within the company. And then all these perspectives come up from people who've answered a similar question. Once you watch one, it leads on to 2 and 3 and 4. And, you know, it provokes them to apply. It really does. So we've just done we've got some information. This is hot off the press. We've just done a pilot with Deloitte.
Oh, great.
The grad program.
Yeah.
in culmination with Grad Connection. It's a big one. It's with Seek. It's a big deal. We just increased their applications by 50%.
Wow. Yeah, right.
And we doubled the time on page. So when you think about doubling someone's time on a profile page, what does that mean? Well, downstream, it means that people are going to say yes more often than no. You're going to have a stronger shortlist because people are more considered. They're like, I don't really want to work for Deloitte. Oh, hang on, I didn't know Deloitte was like this. This is the place for me. I'll apply for a position. And then they're waiting. They're like, am I going to hear back from Deloitte?
Yeah.
So downstream has a lot of benefits. Just opening up a little bit and just telling people's unique story. So that's where we're at. And the pieces of the puzzle, it's when you're thinking about collecting stories, typically it's hard, but VideoMyJob has made it really easy. And yeah, so you would have experienced it yourself.
I haven't. Well, it came with a lot of surprises for me with Story Feed in the Rubber Band community, and anyone who hasn't seen it yet, just jump onto rubberband.com.au and you'll see it pop up in the bottom there, and you can click through and watch a lot of the stories. I mean, we're in a unique position with Rubber Band where, you know, we're not an employer, we're a network. And we really wanted to develop a network value proposition, and we did a lot of research and we interviewed a lot of our members. Where StoryFeed really helped was bringing that all to life, because there were so many surprises for us, and we needed to we knew we were unique, but we didn't know why we were unique. I mean, there are a lot of networks out there and they're all wonderful and they all do their own thing, and some do in person and big events and all sorts of things, but we just have this unique culture within our network for Rubber Band. And for me, being able to invite members of the community to talk about their experience and to talk about what our values mean to us, I mean, it was almost like the next evolution of that research piece for us, because based on the content that was coming back, like there were some where I was welling up with tears, right? I was like, I had no idea we were having this kind of impact on people. Yeah, it's wonderful, and it's, you know, it's raw, it's unscripted, it's people talking from the heart.
Yeah. And
for me, you know, I agree with the master brand stuff, all of that as well, because I love that, right? Like that's been bread and butter in many of my roles, but it just spoke to me, and it really made me understand the culture of my network more than I ever would, just from saying, you know, inviting you to do an interview, tell me about your experience, tell me about values, tell me about why others should come and join us. And I just think it's awesome, mate.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. I really love what you've done. I've seen the videos. What you're doing is building community, and you're allowing someone who's considering joining the community view what your community is all about and what it means to them. It does humanize it. It's super powerful. You touched on a point. I don't know if Gav will show this in the demo. I'm going to maybe I'll put him under a little bit of pressure. But we've just released a new AI for branding. You just mentioned branding very briefly, but branding takes time. We've got a new AI feature that allows people to do zero branding. So once you set your brand template, you don't have to edit the video at all. It automatically comes through and it edits everything. Your cover, the smile that you have, because we've got the transcript, we can see the title, and then it brings it all together. So if you think like Deloitte, for instance, they just used our new innovation. They created 102 videos in 4 days, and they're fully branded, all brand approved. Yeah. So when you speak to the leader at Deloitte, he's like, it can take me, by the time I get to editing a video, it can take me half a week. And then I have to spend like a half an hour or 45 minutes just editing a video. I got 102 videos in 4 days. I did not edit one of them, and they're all ready to go up on StoryFeed and post on socials. I'm so excited to be sending this, because it's going to save everyone so much time.
Yeah. And I think the benefit in early careers, I mean, I've just come to the tail end of our, you know, at our graduate program. We've just hired our grads. I mean, it is so exhaustive in terms of the amount of interactions that you need to have with the universities, with the groups, with the big meets, with all of those kind of activities in order to nurture and attract early career talent into your graduate program. What I love is, I mean, early talent want to meet other grads. They want to meet other people from the business, right? So I would be, you know, I can't tell you the amount of hours we put into that over the course of the year leading up to hiring, you know, less than 10 people, right? With what you can do with VideoMyJob, you can streamline a lot of that, right? Like you can have that for immediate access to those, you know, final year students that are considering your graduate program. Like you said, within 48 hours, you can have over 100 videos for them to actually meet other grads and find out more, rather than having to basically, you know, send so many people from your organization to attend these events to do it in person. And I mean, it's Gen Z, right? They like video. They like instant access. So it's a no-brainer.
Well, it's you know what's really neat as well, because you can refine your next campaign leveraging off the data from StoryFeed as well, because you've got all these unique, interesting perspectives from all the graduates. Like they'll be talking, like you'll have different categories, and one of the categories could be your first year project. Now that's just one topic. That topic might be the most important thing, leveraging off the data that people are selecting. It could be something else. I'm making up, say it's that. Well, you've got validation that you should create more content like that. Or there's a particular video that's landing really well. It's like, well, how can we explore and open up the perspective from this one video into 5 different perspectives from 5 other graduates, so that we're sharing more of that content, or bake that content into the onboarding process. Did you know that you're going to get a buddy in your first month at REA? I'm making that up. But you know, there's a unique perspective or a curiosity when they're searching, and just leveraging on the views and how long people are watching before they move on to their second video and then their third video. It's awesome data to leverage off.
Totally. And I agree. I mean, it's beyond using video for attraction. It's using it for onboarding, right? And then it's also using it for, I suppose, you know, that's getting into your more EVP for your current team members. How can you use the platform to continue that engagement, to continue storytelling within the organization? It can be used for people development. There's so much you could do with it. And I think, you know, we're at that point, and Gavin's probably sitting there sweating, going, "You're talking about all the things that I want to showcase." So let's bring him in. Let's bring him in. What do you reckon? Are you ready, Gav?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're getting the thumbs up from Gavin. So we're going to hand over to Gavin now. He's going to do quite an in-detail demonstration for us. And then, David, you and I will jump back in once he's completed. Over to you, Gav. Thanks, mate.
Hi, everyone. Gavin here from VideoMyJob, and I'm the Talent Solutions Manager, and I wanted to give a really big thank you to Eden from Rubber Band for having us on today. I'm going to be taking you through a really quick run through of all the latest and greatest innovation that we have packed into the platform over here at VMJ, and a couple of customer examples of how they're using these innovations to full effect to achieve their talent objectives. So wasting no time at all, a quick introduction. You may be familiar with VideoMyJob from a few years ago, or even back in 2016 when we founded, as the simple to use 3-button app that's predominantly focused on job ads. Well, I'm pleased to report that we have absolutely innovated well and truly beyond this in the current day and age. And the best way to understand how we're helping our customers now is as an employee story video enterprise platform. And what that means is with an enterprise focus, we're really targeting employee stories at scale. We're talking 50, 60, 100 participants responding to campaigns at any one time. And in the current day and age, with mobile devices all featuring HD or 4K cameras, it's actually not that difficult to capture video. But when you're talking about it from the enterprise perspective and at scale, there's a lot of complexities that get introduced to the process. Things like making sure that your employees are on brand and on message, making sure that your branding, your logo, and your color schemes are all handled correctly, and all the while ensuring that you're staying within the bounds of the IT processes and security whilst you collect those videos. So, wasting no time at all, I'll jump right into the platform. And the first feature set that we'll be discussing today is in relation to security and controls. So, we're hosted on AWS infrastructure in a number of different geographies, meeting all of the local requirements around privacy or data security, all those good things like ISO and SOC 2 best practices are all abided by. And we give you complete control as to who has what level of access. So you can really lock down that only the core users are the ones that are going to be inside the platform. Now, that's things like your talent team, recruitment marketers, employer branders, people with the right level of training and approval to be producing this sort of content. Everybody else in the platform, they're going to interact with it from the perspective of filming. And we really limit their experience with VideoMyJob to collecting those stories from them, and then that's where their experience stops. So you don't need to worry about anyone creating like little side projects or publishing something accidentally that wasn't ready to go out. And then the next piece is we often refer to ourselves as marketing's best friend, because brand is something that's really, really crucial to get right. And in that vein, when you come into VideoMyJob and you sign up as a customer, we're going to work with your brand or marketing team to get all of that absolutely spot on. So your logo, your unique color code, even down to something as small as your font. We want that all to be loaded into the platform and then locked as a template so that you can be sure and your marketing team can be sure every time you make a video, it's absolutely spot on, which gives them a great deal of confidence to let you get creating and really be responsive to the business's changing needs. So moving right along, the next element of making video easy at scale is obviously around how you're going to go and collect that video content. So that's where our campaigns feature comes into it. We run everything via a campaign, so you can say goodbye to multicolored flags in your email inbox or crazy Excel spreadsheets of trying to keep track of where everything's at. This is all catered for you inside the platform. Broadly speaking, there's two different pathways you might go down: a scripted video or recording more of a Q&A style of video. So if you think about the script, maybe a job ad might fit there, or maybe you've just launched a new EVP and you have like a key message that you want to take to market. You can invite 10, 20, 30 different employees to all read from the same script, and then you could actually chop up all of that content to have each of them recording a little snippet. So you're showcasing your diversity and getting that message across in one hit, which is really, really compelling. But we're going to focus on a question. So you might have something like, which company value do you resonate with the most? Or how would you describe the culture at your company? So you can then take that question, make any amendments that you might like to do, and then you move on to inviting participants. And there's a number of different ways that you can invite people. If they've already responded to something recently, they can pop up here in a list, or you can just go ahead and invite them, maybe even a bulk upload if you've got lots and lots of people. And then we can give our campaign a unique name. So I'm just going to call this one the rubber band example. But you want it to be easily identifiable later on when you're going back in to go and find how your campaign is tracking, who's responded, who do you need to sort of follow up with. And then you can set a deadline. So, most importantly, you want to provide like, when is this due? So I can go in there and then mark that. And then I can give some instructions. So these could be brand guidelines that you might have, or just some tips and tricks about how to get the best quality recording, like looking for an interesting background or minimizing noise in the environment. And then you simply hit launch and VideoMyJob takes care of the rest. So we send out all of the invitations, reminders, status updates, like it's all available at the click of a button. And then as your videos start to come back in, you'll be able to see those underneath your campaign. So I'll just bring open an example that I have here where I've had a couple of my colleagues actually respond with clips where I would then be able to jump in and play that back. just assess whether or not I'm happy with that clip before moving on to editing. So before we jump into editing, there's one other great innovation that we've added, which really helps with getting your campaigns completed, having people respond to videos. So one of the biggest challenges that people often outlaid was that they wanted to participate, but they didn't know what to say. So AI is obviously the flavor of the month, and we have taken a slightly different approach where we were really considered with how we wanted to incorporate AI into the platform and really solve a key challenge for our users. And we saw that scripting could be something that AI could lend itself to quite nicely. So we've developed an AI scriptwriter to help your employees actually get a starting point for what they might like to say. So we still want to maintain that authenticity, and it's important to note that we're not advocating for just reading any old AI generated script verbatim. But yeah, unanimously, everybody found that it was far easier for them to have a look at a suggestion and then make edits and tweaks to that than it was for them to start from scratch. Now, while we were at it, we found an awesome opportunity to really enable employer brand professionals or recruitment marketers and extend their influence inside an organization. So there's a lot of painstaking detail that goes into formulating an employer brand, but then activating it and really making sure that it sort of felt inside the organization all too often just came down to the individual responsibility of the person driving it. What we were able to do is in the back end behind the scenes of our AI scriptwriter, give you the ability to feed in the unique elements about your organization. So things like your vision, mission, purpose, your EVP pillars, and your employer brand strategy. You can all punch that in, even down to really granular things like common themes that are used inside the organization or high value words and areas or topics that you actively want to steer away from. Another great inclusion, obviously VideoMyJob, we're commonly referred to as VMJ. We can give ourselves that nickname inside the platform, or even go so far as giving our employee group a nickname. So we found out that the employees over at Amazon are actually referred to as Amazonians, and subsequently to having a couple of chats to the talent team over there, we actually found out that that does great things for employee engagement as well as having that sort of collective name. So really interesting and a really great opportunity to make sure that the suggestions coming through from our scriptwriter are as close to, in your employee tone of voice as you're obviously trying to advocate for. So that takes us perfectly into what do we then do once we have all these recordings coming back in. And that's where we have a number of different options for you in how you might choose to go through and brand or edit your videos. So first and foremost, we have something called a quick brand or our web editing suite. So in here, we have all of the different templates that we have actually created in the lead up to you coming on board inside the platform. You can apply those and then go ahead and really quickly, easily trim up your video. So, there's no painstaking editing that needs to take place here. You can get something out to market really, really quickly for that urgent video that you need because somebody in the business has had a great idea or there's been a new priority that's come to the forefront. And then you get the chance to brand up your title, really quickly, simply, and easily. Now, if I jump back a step, we also give you another option there, which is around our integration with Canva. So everybody loves using Canva. I know I'm certainly an addict. And, what better way to take your videos to the next level than to give you all of the freedom and creativity that Canva gives you access to. So that's your go-to if you want to create like really high production value videos, add in like animation and transitions and background music and the like. But a nifty feature is that we also give you the ability, if you're experimenting with other social platforms like Insta or TikTok, for example, you can jump in and adjust on the fly the proportions of your video. So you can adjust that to square or portrait, for example, and take that video and sort of do whatever you would like with it. Now, that leads me into our newest addition in editing, which is super exciting. And we have a great way to be able to showcase that to you all, which is our AI auto edit. So, be gone are the days of having to sit there and actually even trim up or brand a video. Our AI tool is in the final stages of testing now. And we've actually done a fantastic pilot with Deloitte for their graduate program. So that will showcase our story feed functionality, which is a great two birds, one stone kind of segue. So Deloitte, they are advertising their recruitment campaign for graduates on Grad Connection, as I'm sure many people listening to this also do, and they wanted a better way to, really communicate the unique offering that their graduate program was to those out there considering them. Now, we saw this as a great opportunity to get together and work on testing this new AI feature, as I mentioned. And in less than, I think it was 4 or 5 days, Poncho mentioned, we were able to create in excess of 100 videos, all branded, trimmed up, ready to go, and get their story feed live on the Grad Connection page. So, hopefully you're seeing this. If not, we can try and make sure we get a link for you to be able to go and check it out. It's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, over here, what we've been able to do. So for anybody that doesn't know, our story feed is VideoMyJob tech that can sit on any web page that you have access to. And it's a video library. We're also working on the ability for you to be able to host this as like an unlisted video library that you could then choose to proactively send out to people. But here in front of me, I have a whole host of different faces of the graduates of Deloitte. So I can scroll through and just kind of have a look at anybody that might, really strike out and appeal to me, really interesting to go and sort of have a little listen as to their perspective of what life at Deloitte is like as a graduate.
Hi, I'm Jessica Irish. I'm a graduate at Deloitte, and I just wanted to share some advice when applying for the grad program here. And it's really cliched, but
So there I get to hear from Jessica about her experience, and underneath there, we've incorporated a call to action, which in this instance is apply now, but could also be linking back to your culture or values or any other web page that you wanted to drive traffic. And then if I click out of there, I get the option to go and have a look at any other of these many, many graduate videos that Deloitte has curated. And on the left-hand side, this is customizable per customer, per story feed. You can create these different sorts of pathways that people can go down for their specific interests. So we've got topics and locations as the two different filterable kind of options here. So, we all know that there's a lot of rivalry between the likes of Sydney and Melbourne. The culture is very different. And likewise between, Brisbane and Sydney or Brisbane and Melbourne. And individuals always want to know about what it's like to work in that team specifically or that office location specifically. So they can go ahead, click that, and then dynamically that wall of content will update in line with their interests. Likewise for topics, if I wanted to know a little bit more about work-life balance, because that was very important to me, I could find out about that. Or if I was most interested in mentoring and how that's going to build and progress my career, then I could sort by that. Now, I'm going to switch gears for a second and show you another example, and that's the team over at Haleon. Now, they're a great brand to showcase here because they're a household name that many people don't have a great deal of familiarity with. They have consumer brands such as Panadol, Voltaren, Centrum Vitamins, but for whatever reason, a lot of people don't make that connection then with the corporate brand of Haleon. So what they've been able to achieve with their story feed is cleverly positioning some of their consumer brands, their consumer items in the forefront or the background of screen, which really helps create that instant recognition and that connection that you do know and trust this brand. The other thing that I really like to highlight about Haleon and how they've gone about building out their story feed is what it does for speaking to their commitment for diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's a massively important topic. We all know it. We've convinced the executive teams that they need to be, really focusing on this specifically and broadcasting, that your organization is obviously committed to this as well. But the challenge there is that that's kind of elevated the bar. And now simply having like a hero message on your career site doesn't really cut it. Like candidates have that level of expectation now, but it doesn't shine through even when you're doing really meaningful good work in this space. And I think a well populated story feed uniquely positions this in front of the audience. Like as I scroll through here, I can see just such a diverse mix of individuals sharing their perspectives about what life at Halion is like. And that doesn't matter through what lens I'm considering the world, whether that is age or gender or ethnicity. Chances are I'm going to find an individual in their story feed that I resonate with and makes me feel comfortable that I would be not only accepted, but celebrated if I were to join the team over at Halion. Now, the final piece of the puzzle that I want to call out for how Halion have been able to really activate these employee stories is over on LinkedIn. You can see if you go and have a look at the Halion corporate page, or maybe you follow Emma Lang, who heads up the EB team over there. They've just got so much incredible engagement on their videos. Here we've got a little blooper reel, for example, of outtakes that again is pushing people over to the careers page, but they've got 192 sort of interactions on there. So that's like likes, they've got 7 comments, but the thing that blows me away is they've got 29 reposts, and that's all coming from internal Halion employees. So, we've all had that experience where we've asked people to kind of get behind a topic or help us spruik something out there on LinkedIn, and it can be really difficult when that's kind of dry corporate material. Like this is their personal network that we're speaking to. But when it's their colleague in the same team, or maybe somebody from an adjacent team that they interact with pretty regularly, they're much more likely to get behind that. They know this individual, they're happy to shout that out. And what that's doing is actually getting your content into those hidden talent pockets that you really want to be targeting, because that's where your A grade talent sits. They're not necessarily going to be connected to your corporate page. If we think ourselves about how many corporate brands we're connected with, it's probably not as many as our connections to individuals, people that we've worked with previously, or maybe met at a networking event or an industry event. And we thought, hey, you know what, let's connect with each other on LinkedIn and stay in touch. These are the superstars. These are the ones that you want to be speaking to directly. And by tapping into those employees' networks, you're getting your content in front of those really, really impactful eyeballs where they want to see it, and then pushing them over to your careers site or any other location away from the kind of noise of a place like LinkedIn.
Alrighty, so that has been the latest and greatest from us over here at VideoMyJob, as well as a couple of quick examples of how our customers are using this to full effect. So I hope this has been really beneficial for you. And if you're interested in creating some absolutely amazing employee story videos, or you're just interested in maybe exploring one of the features that we touched on today in a little bit more depth, I'd invite you to reach out to me and connect on either LinkedIn or feel free to shoot me through an email. Always up for a chat about how we can help you to better achieve your talent objectives.
Wow, Gav, thank you so much for the demo. Welcome back, David. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And
Thanks.
as I said just prior to going into the demo, I think what I love about it is the flex that it has and the multiple uses that it can have, whether it's for people like myself that are running networks, whether it's for organizations for their talent attraction, whether it's for early careers, whether it's for learning, whether it's for retention, all of these things, right? Like video is just so powerful. I mean, why is video key? I didn't ask you that in the start. I mean, we see employee testimonials, we see those written on our LinkedIn life pages and things like that. Why is video the answer, and why is it as compelling as it is for my network, for organizations, for what we've just seen with Gavin? Why is that power in video? Why is video the future?
It's a big answer,
Isn't
but
it?
like a human, we love stories and we connect with humans. So when you can see someone who you relate to, whether it be the work that they're doing because you share a similar job title, or it could be you relate to them because you're a similar age or ethnicity, but you can see yourself working within that organization, you feel connected. And video does provoke a response, and hopefully a response where people are applying for a job. And that's what ultimately.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Well, look, David and Gav, thank you so much for joining today and running through this demo. And we've got a really great opportunity, Banders, that are watching and listening. I mean, we can, VideoMyJob have generously offered a 90-day pilot to, it's a paid pilot, but it's just to give it a crack. You're not locked into a 2-year contract or anything like that. And that they will really nurture and guide you through this. Now, if I, Eden Haddock, who is not Mr. Technology, could have done such a great job with the rubber band community in getting my story feed up and running in such a short period of time with so much impact. You can do it as well. And I encourage you to give it a shot. Like, I'm so glad that I did. I've been rewarded in ways that I didn't expect. And it's even taken the rubber band community in different directions just from the content that has come back. And we've also seen quite, as everyone's been noticing, because new members of the community are getting welcomed every day. We've noticed a really big increase in new joiners to rubber band. And I think that just speaks volumes, right? It's working. It's working for us. So David, thank you so much. And thanks for telling us all about the journey. It's such a great example of Aussie innovation. And we love Aussie innovation at Rubber Band. So congratulations, mate.
Nice one, Eden. Thank you so much for allowing us to tell our story.
Amazing. Well, Banders, check it out. Reach out to me if you want to hear more. If you want to learn more from me, reach out to Gav. Gav's in Rubber Band and he's very active and he always loves hearing from you. And of course, reach out to David. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.